A slap in the face.
Is all this stimulus spending really doing anything to help the economies of struggling states? Congressman Pete Roskam of Illinois joins us. Congressman, welcome to the program. Good to see you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You know, Ben Bernanke is warning on debt. Illinois has got debt. California's got debt. The federal government's got debt. He's warning about debt. If we rein in spending, we get into an even worse position because the economy slows?
No, we don't get into a worse position. We get into a better position. The state of Illinois is now at a point where they had $500 million in unpaid bills 2 years ago. That number has now jumped 10 times to $5 billion in unpaid bills. Moody's recently downgraded the rating for the state of Illinois, in part because it doesn't have its fiscal house in order. It's expanding spending based on one-time stimulus infusions. Look, this debt is having a massive drag on the economy. And to Chairman Bernanke's point, it's ultimately not sustainable. You know, there was a release that came out from the President's Fiscal Commission, or one of the experts that testified there not long ago, that looking at this $19 trillion debt figure, you know, they want to create $1 million a year, or 1 million new jobs a year. Well, the way to create the 1 million new jobs is to ease the debt piece back so the economy can ultimately right itself. But this Congress and this administration should not continue on an adventure of spending more and more on the stimulus side. That has failed. It has underperformed.
Congressman, our viewers can see Ben Bernanke. He has just sat down. He's about to make his prepared remarks before Congress. We know what he's going to say. That's why we're not taking you directly to hear what he's got to say. But Congressman Roskam, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Carly Fiorina just a moment ago. If elected, I mean, maybe if she's elected, she said she would reject a federal bailout of California. Well, you're a sitting congressman. Would you reject a federal bailout or federal help, call it what you like, for Illinois?
I think she's wise, and I think that what she understands is that it ultimately, to accept more help from the federal government is a fool's errand. It's 43 cents on the dollar that the federal government is borrowing now.
But Congressman, I've got to tell you what you already know. You are telling your constituents that pain is coming to your state, to those people. Now, that's a tough thing to say.
Pain is coming to these states regardless of these two paths. There is a pathway of fiscal discipline and wisdom and saying no to unnecessary spending that makes the pain worse. But I think ultimately we've got to get back onto a course. You know, to your point, there's difficult choices that are before us, but we ought not to be making this problem worse, and that is by borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. Because ultimately, you borrow into a point where you're completely collapsed, and we don't have to do that.
I've got 20 seconds. Can you tell me if you would countenance any tax increases?
No, I wouldn't countenance any tax increases. This town of Washington, D.C., as has been said many, many times, doesn't have a revenue problem at its core. It has a spending problem at its core, and that's what the American public is absolutely convinced of.
I just got a feeling that the crunch is upon us, and we're going to feel it this year. Congressman Pete Roskam, thanks for joining us, sir. It was a pleasure. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.